let's get to know you, Mark, if that's all right. I feel like I'm in active mode myself at the minute. Just calm down. Right, okay, so I'll do some quick fire ones and let's get out of the way, all right? So full name?
Mark Ian Addy.
Ian. Okay, place of birth?
York.
Hey. No? Yeah? Nobody from York then? No. Oh, there we go. So where do you live at the minute?
Market Wheaton.
I don't want your address.
Yeah, right.
Here's an interesting one. What's your first memory?
First memory? Building a bonfire at the corner of our street, which was just an empty bit of land, but there's stuff built on it now.
Right.
But we always used to build a massive bonfire there.
Nice.
Wouldn't be able to do that these days.
I know. I think how old would you have been? Like 2?
we were little.
When did you first decide that you wanted to be an actor?
Well, I went to Joseph Roundtree's school.
Anyways, no. Okay. Hey.
And I was keen on drama. Actually, before that, my mum had taken me to. There used to be a little church hall round the back of. It was in what was St John's College car park. I don't know if the building's still there, but there was a guy who used to do Brother Dominic, I think he was called, and he was a priest who used to do drama on a Saturday morning. And I went along there and quite liked it. But when I went to Joe Rose, I liked doing drama because it was the only lesson where you could get out of uniform, bring some trainers, a t-shirt and some jeans. Brilliant. Just for like an hour.
Did you enjoy school?
Not really.
No.
No, I wasn't. I'm not a very academic.
Right.
But the drama side of it was good. But we did a thing called, I don't know if they still do it, Trident Work Experience, where when you're about 14 or 15, you go and work for a company for 3 weeks. So there'd be people going to work at Lloyd's Bank, filing stuff, for 3 weeks, or working at a hairdresser's or whatever. And they say, yes, we've got a place for you. And Theatre Royal was on there, and they said, yeah, we've got a place. I went and worked in the workshop, building scenery at the York Theatre Royal for 3 weeks. Loved it. Loved the people. Just the type of people that are involved in that, in that side of things. Very, very cool, very laid back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you go, man, I don't have to wear a uniform or a suit.
Sounds like a big thing.
Brilliant.
So you don't consider costume uniform then?
No. But at the end of that, I did 3 weeks there, and it was great. And at the end of that, the Stivo, who was the master carpenter, said, "Do you want to come back and crew the panto at Christmas? We'll pay you." And I'm like, "Yeah." So started working backstage, and I mean, that, but I did. Everybody said, "Don't do acting because everybody's out of work, and you can't, get yourself a proper job for life, a job that'll, right, okay." And so I was like, well, maybe I could do theatre design or something. Having spent a bit of time looking at what these guys do, maybe that's something. I'm quite good at drawing, But then watching, the majority of guys on the crew at York in those days were postmen. So they'd do the post round in the morning, kip in the afternoon, and then come and crew the show in the evening for beer money, basically. So they'd do the scene change and go off and have a beer backstage or whatever. But I'd be watching the show. You go, oh, I'll see how this. And just watching actors work, you learn a lot just from watching other. And if you get a chance to watch something like that night after night, you see how an audience can change a performance, how a performance can change an audience, and how. It's always different, it's the same, you're watching the same play or the same show, but it's never the same, there's always something different. and that sort of fascinated me. And having an opportunity to talk to actors as well, because you're working in the same building, they know that you're on the crew, and
I don't know if you probably allude to this, but I think one of the things that when say actors get the first role and they're on set and things like that, I think one of the things that they're really frightened to do is actually maybe even speak to someone like yourself and maybe, ask those questions and get that advice and things. And I think what I've always found, I don't know if you'd agree, but is actually most of these actors are actually quite
very
open.
approachable. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's I'd ask people, did you go to drama school? Do you have to go to drama school?
Yeah.
Was the thing? Well, you don't have to, but it gives you a good grounding and a good sort of. And actually, it was Imelda Staunton was doing Grease at the Theatre Hall years and years ago, and she said, "Here's the address of my old drama school. Write to them, and they'll send you a prospectus and what have you." And that's why I ended up going there, and then I went to RADA, and that was her old place. But it was always just, well, you can give it a go. I go to drama school, give it a go, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll go back and build scenery again. Still sort of giving it a go in a way. But no, it's been all right so far.
It just sounds like just following what makes you happy. I suppose.
And if it's something that you enjoy, if it's something you enjoy doing, then it's not a hardship, is it? You know what I mean? And you're always learning.
I don't know if you've answered this actually. Next question was going to be, what do you think you'd be doing if you weren't an actor?
I can't.
Building scenery.
Yeah. I don't know where I would. I'd still be sweeping.
Following your nose, finding out, doing what you enjoy.
I have no other strings to my. I can't play a musical instrument. I can't. I don't know what I honestly don't know. That's
a good bloody job then, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Just keep working.
So, I don't know if you've answered this now. Oh. You see, I've got all these questions. I'm so proud of them as well. Who would you say was the most special person in your career progression? Who do you think really kicked you on, helped you?
Well, there are various people that can inspire you in many different ways, and one of them was, go on, get it.
Can Mark answer it? Can Mark answer it? Oh, he whipped. He suddenly went, cancel.
But Beric Kaler, who, the York people know who Beric Kaler is, does the panto here every year and has done for.
You mentioned him. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, he's done it for nearly 40 years now. He plays the Dame, writes the show, and so. But see, watching him work, you just go, there's somebody who's kind of very old school, and keeps a sort of a tradition alive of a show that's kind of. Well, a lot of pantos around the country will have, stars of often Australian soaps or stars of soaps from this country, and they're coming in doing whatever songs happen to be in the hit parade at the moment. You know what I mean? Whereas he goes, no, we're not doing that. We're not having. We're having the same bunch of people doing the same rubbish year in, year out, and audiences flock to see it because it's just good old-fashioned nonsense.
Slapstick.
Yeah. And keeping some of these sort of routines that have been handed down, and it's up to he's become like a curator of these fantastic old routines that he puts in.
You've sold.
We do the magic hat.
Panto in York this year, I think.
It's worth a look. It is nonsense.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of very very approachable nonsense for everybody, for kids, and the kids. There are a lot of.
Have you ever done it? You've done panto?
I did it in '84 when I was just out of drama school.
Oh, no.
And it was great, but it's hard work.
You fancy being a dame at some point?
It is really hard work.
Is it?
Yeah, because you're often doing 2 shows a day over the Christmas holidays.
And they get all the schools in.
Saturdays you'll do 3. And we would do you'd either do 2:30, 7:30, 2:30. What would we do? 2, 5, and 8.
Oof.
Or 10:30, 2:30, and 7:30. 2, 5, and 8. If you were doing that show, you'd be getting your half-hour call as you were coming off stage from the first performance. So there's your half, and the same with the next one. But at least you just went straight through. 10:30 one, you'd have 2 hours to wait before the next show, and then 2 hours before your third one, and that was brutal.
And that was in '84.
And that was in '84. Yeah.
Well, final question from this round. Okay, so what's your favourite hobby other than acting? What do you like to do in your downtime?
I watched rugby. That's
Union.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sort of in rugby league territory, but York is a fairly. We used to have a decent rugby league team, but they moved the ground.
So did Bradford.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, but no, I don't. Rugby's kind of.
Yeah. Do you get away much holidays?
Just been to Italy. Yeah, not that much. Just I'm often away working.
Yeah.
Which is nice, and you get to see places that you wouldn't normally.
Would you say it's become a more international job lately, or is it always been an international job?
Not especially lately. It's you have to go wherever the work is, where actors are still kind of rogues and vagabonds as they used to be. But that's the nature of the beast. You know. I was earlier this year. I did a play, and so we rehearsed in Hull we had 6 weeks rehearsal and then 4 weeks playing in Hull. So I was at home for that. Then we did 4 weeks in Stratford. So I was only away for 4 weeks. So you go, well, that was all right. It was nice to go to Stratford for a month.
So I'll tie you down to one thing you just said then. So obviously, what changes in the industry, say from around early 80s to now, what would you say some of the main changes that you've seen as you've kind of been through your career? What's changed?
I think budgets have diminished. At least they're certainly. I think they're less lax about money being sloshing around. It kind of there's less wastage, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which is probably a good thing. Something like Game of Thrones, for example, you sort of the budget on that is immense. But with fantasy, I think it has to be. Otherwise, if it looks pants, then people just go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Agree. Yeah, definitely.
Running around in a forest. Why am I
bothering
with American accents? Why am I
rubber dragons?
So there are times when, and there's only certain people who can do that. HBO, I can't think of anybody, any other organisation that would go, yeah, we'll risk this amount for something that may or may not go.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And we shot when we were shooting we shot episode 1 as a pilot the year before we started shooting the series properly. And we were going, do they know how much this is going to cost? But just horses, everything piles expense on.
Didn't I hear they had to reshoot a lot of the pilot?
Yeah, good. Probably there's only about 20% of it from the original. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Cast changes, different looks, different. There was all sorts that they. But they were all improvements, I suppose.
Yeah, I recken there's a lot of Game of Thrones fans in here, so we're definitely gonna.
Oh, we'll get a section
you'll
on
be
it.
sick of it, I promise you. What we'll do now is I'll pick out some of the projects that you've been involved in and stuff.
Yeah.
You could maybe tell us a few bits about it, if that's all right. IMDb, go like this. What was your first big role that you were extremely kind of excited about, would you say? Where you were like, right, okay, this is really exciting. The type of role where you start to ring your family and friends and go, do you know what? This is what I'm going to be doing.
Well, full Monty had to be, because I hadn't done I'd done it before that. I'd done a lot of theatre and a bit of telly. I was just sort of and the reason I was starting to make my way in telly was because I did a tour of a two-hander that we did 9 months touring around the country, and producers came and saw it and said, "Oh, this would be great to have in the West End." Small cast, doesn't cost as much. Anyway, we thought that'd be great. End of a grueling tour, to do a little stint in London so you can get people to come and see you, might generate some more work. Cut a long story short, the West End show opened 3 weeks before we finished the tour, and we were like, why didn't they just wait? They didn't think you had the profile that, what do you mean? Well, they've got the guy off the telly and the girl from... and you go, well, shit, that's... All right, so I said, no more theatre then. I've got to try and get some of this profile so I can go and do a play in the West End.
That's strange, isn't it?
I know, it's weird. But and so in amongst the bits of telly and stuff I was doing, I went and I met for the full Monty, and I had to go back about, I think, 5 times. It just got ridiculous. They want to see you again. I'm like, I can't do anything else. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that happened, and then, bizarrely, that led on to a lot of other things. But I was walking through London one day, and the guy came up to me, was the producer of a play called Art, a three-hander, which was on in the West End at the time, and said, anytime you want to come and do 6 months on the show. And I'm like, too late now, I'm doing other shit. So, if you'd have come to me, yeah.
Is it nice, because obviously, talking of the full Monty, it's like a lot of the things when you first read them, do you ever have any idea of the reception, the scale of how popular things are going to be? Do you think you've kind of got your head around that yet? Can you read a script and go, yeah, this is going to be a hit, or vice versa?
No, because quite often you're wrong. You go, this is going to be... Nobody went to see it. Yeah, it's impossible to tell what, whether... We didn't know at the time whether that would go or not. I just knew it was a good script, and it was a part that I could do. And it was just a case of trying not to mess it up. Really.
Yeah. Let's move on. I saw this at Christmas, and I didn't realise it was you. And I went, hello. The Flintstones.
I was out...
How did that come about?
I was out in America doing press and stuff when the full Monty started out there, and it did incredibly well. It did really, really well. So they all, suddenly you've got people clamouring to see you.
New audience,
you know what I mean? Oh, the guy's in town. Can he come in for a meeting? And so you drive all the way from one side of LA to the other. So I've got a meeting with, he's an executive. You meet this guy he looks about 12, he's in a suit and tie.
Why are you looking at me?
I wish. He'd say, great, I just wanted to say hi. And I'm like, but I've just fucking driven 30 miles. just want to say hi. All right. But then 6 months later, you know, he's put you down for it's a weird setup over there. But I got, in amongst scripts that I'd got sent, was the Flintstones movie, and I kind of stuck that on the pile, like they sent that to the wrong person. And then they sent another script, and they wouldn't. And I'd said no several times, but I ended up in a meeting with somebody who was the head of production at Universal, and they were saying, "Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that," and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Flintstones again. I'm like, "Oh," they said, "You know, we were talking to Stephen the other day, and he, you know, he'd said, I want that guy, I want the, you know." And I went, "Who's executive producer?" And it says Spielberg. Well, I better
I'll come for that chat.
I better read it. And anyway, so I never met him. He was executive producer in name only. But you know, I did it, and it was a very odd. It's an odd experience because you.
It looks very kind of studio setup. It must have been.
Well, yeah. Oddly, there was very little green screen in that. They built the a Flintstone version of the Las Vegas Strip in a canyon in Sun Valley, and yeah, we were just in a hole for months and months. Very weird. But you know, amazing to be part of something on that.
It's quite a role to talk about.
They wouldn't.
Fred Flintstone, brilliant. Awesome.
Yeah, a bit of a weird one. But the only how do you the Flintstones cartoon was based on an American series called The Honeymooners, which is an old 50s 60s. Jackie Gleason played he was like a bus driver. And it was in the political correctness was in its infancy back then, so he'd be constantly threatening his wife. One of these days, Alice. One of these days, to the moon. And you're like, oh, that's. But I watched a lot of the Honeymooners just to give me a. How do you play a cartoon character? But if you go, I can do a version of Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
So that was my way into
rooted
that.
It. Yeah, definitely. In fact, when I said you were coming, I didn't even know you were in this, and somebody go, "Oh, A Knight's Tale."
Oh, Knight's Tale.
And, yeah, it's a very popular film even now.
Well, it did nothing on its theatrical release, but you know, since I think a lot of people found it later on DVD, or you know.
But you find that, I suppose you find that more and more now with the new setup, and
they don't. I suppose you don't have to have, you know, the big opening weekend. They've set a lot of store by that kind of thing in the States. But no, that was you know, 5 months in Prague. Shooting that with a good bunch of drinkers. It was all good.
I always say this. I don't know if ever anyone's ever heard me say this, but this is my personal favourite. My personal favourite drama that's ever hit British television was Red Riding. Has anyone seen that? Did anyone see that? Okay, so it's not. But for me, honestly, it was in 3 parts, and the casting and everything about it, the way it was written, it was really dark. It's probably one of the darkest things I've ever seen.
You've got to have a shower after you've watched it.
Yeah, but genuinely, I'm not just saying this. It's the greatest, and I urge you all to go watch it. Yeah, what did you think when you picked up that script?
Well, I got sent all. My agent said, "I'm sending you. The part they want you for is in the last one.
Yeah.
But I've sent all 3 because they're sort of connected. So all right. So there's no money. You know.
Screen Yorkshire.
Right. Whatever. Okay, and started reading, and I hadn't got halfway through the first one. And I phoned her up and said, who else? Because I thought, this is brilliant. You know,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you read a script, you just go, oh shit, this is good.
Mm.
I said, who else is involved? And she said,
right list.
Sean Bean, Peter Mullen, Paddy Considine. Just the list was Dave Morrissey. Stick my name down on that list.
Yeah.
Warren Clark. You had people, just amazing people, doing it for very little.
And I mentioned the casting. It's just ridiculous.
They said, we want to do this. There's obviously they had a meeting with the agents in London and said, we want to do it. There's a big cast. We haven't got, it was Channel 4 Films. And they said, look, we want to do it, and we want to do it properly. So there won't be any trailers, there's no green room, there's no, catering will be £5 all that stuff. So there was everything that they spent on it was on the screen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There wasn't, literally no money was wasted anywhere. And because people didn't have a little room to hide in, you sat and chatted with, and you got to know the rest of the cast, which is not always the case. And we had and also I think there was something about, the calibre of people that you're working with. You have to raise your game.
Yeah.
You can't. You go, I don't really want to let the ball drop on this one. So you're up for it. And in a way, I think the fact that it was, it's not nobody's doing this for the money. We're doing this because the scripts are brilliant.
Yeah.
Let's make it. So people were just. Just.
I was surprised to hear that about the budget, because you must have thought that when I saw it, there's nothing lost. Nothing lost in the budget at all.
No. But it was just all that extra, the sort of, whose trailer is bigger than, all that was taken out of the equation, which saves a lot on a budget, honestly.
Of course.
I was filming in, I did a thing called Jack Frost.
Yes,
Talking
sorry.
movie. You'll probably find that one.
Yeah, we're past it.
But we were filming in Northern California, and the unit base was just like a wide spot in this windy mountain road. And I'm sharing. I've got half a trailer, and the kid in it has got this 12-year-old kid, and his family have got the other half. And I'm waiting for, they're shooting something down the way. I'm waiting for him to come back, and Michael Keaton's trailer about the size of this room was there. But next to it was this other, like the back of an articulated lorry with little steps going up, and I'm kind of I'll go and have a shufty. Peeped in, and it's a fully equipped gym, mirrored down each side, so it's like, and there's a guy in there. Hello. Oh, sorry, I've just no, come in. I said, what? He said, I'm Michael's personal trainer. All right, and you're here up a mountain. Yeah, I'm here every day in his contract. Right, and does he? But he's working. Oh, he does 20 minutes in the morning. And he's there all day, every day. Oh, anytime you want to come in, I'm like, do I look?
I can imagine some of the stipulations in these contracts.
Yeah. I think
bit of a negative question.
Well, but it's interesting.
I'm just interested.
I think you did. There's a temptation to go, I wonder what people think of I think I'm sure Game of Thrones, I started reading stuff and people were going, well, that's bloody ridiculous, having him playing that part. He's just a clown, you never take him seriously as a king. You think, oh, hang on, you've not even seen it yet. That's just somebody's. Well, ruined it. That's ruined it for me. Ruined it. The whole thing ruined. But it's not been out yet. Give us a chance. So you stop reading those things basically, because you can't. It's like reviews and stuff. If you read a review of a play that you're doing and it's a bad one, and you take it to heart, then you're not doing yourself any favours. But if you're willing to read the good ones, then you're doing the wrong thing the other way. It's It's probably best to just get on and do the work and
Yeah, that's what I was hoping you'd say.
yeah.
Ross is very sensitive.
I'm getting better.
It's a good thing. You do have to develop a thick skin, because you are
Putting yourself out
kind
there.
of in the firing line.
Yeah, so just ignore it.
So you bet, yeah.
And it's always people with negative comments that always seem to shout the loudest as well, isn't it? Like the
Keyboard warriors.
That's it, yeah. Anyone else? Oh, at the back there.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
I'm Jill.
Hi, Joe.
How did you first market yourself as a business in the early days?
As a business?
Oh, some buzzwords going on there.
Ooh, I don't know that I ever thought that way. Do you know what I mean? I started out doing theatre. I was trained to do theatre. That was the way RADA was in those days, and there was only one camera in the building. A movement teacher had a video camera. This is going back before many of you were born, but and of course now everybody's got a camera in their pocket, but you didn't have them in those days, and we never had the old cine camera growing up or anything, which other kids did. So for a lot of us, watching yourself back on this little video camera was like the first time. That's what I look like from behind. Oh, fuck. Do you know what I mean? It was. Do I walk like that? Shit.
That's a really interesting question, actually. How did you go from stage to screen, and kind of when you started to develop into a screen actor? How did that feel, and how did you maybe have to change your craft slightly to accommodate?
Well, it is hard to. I found theatre jobs that I could get. People know that you've done theatre. Oh, I saw that show. I did this. Great. But then you're going in for TV interviews, and it's a different. They don't watch theatre. TV directors watch films and TV. Theatre directors watch theatre, film, and television. Film directors watch film. So you kind of. You're in a different, and finding your way in is tricky, and without any experience, I was finding it tough. But I got there was a casting director called Michelle Smith, I think, who
The Runaways. You know Michelle.
I think she sent me the script from the London International Film School. So they're doing their final projects, and they pay your expenses. That's it, and it's a short film, 2 or 3 days or whatever. Well, how else am I going to know what it's like to stand in front of a camera and a crew? So I said, yeah, I'll do that. And I did a couple of those just to give you that, because it can be a daunting experience, even for actors who've done a lot of work. that first time, or first time on set on a particular job, you're in a room full of people that you've never met before. The camera is focused on you. Everybody is focused on you, whether they're looking at the hair being right, the bit of. They've all got their own, but it can be overwhelming. I've seen people struggle with, experienced people, just feel, totally overwhelmed by that sense. It's an odd thing. I played in a charity cricket match at the weekend. Not played cricket since I was at school, but facing that first ball, surrounded by the opposition, that was like, oh man, this is a kind of pressure I'm not used to. But yeah, that was useful for me doing this sort of student work, just to give you an idea of what that is, what's involved, and what is expected.
Excellent. Right, I'll rattle through some questions. We'll start from the back and come forward. Oh, Frankie?
Oh, I was hoping it would be like, okay. What was your biggest struggle and how did you deal with it? Getting deep.
Biggest struggle?
As an actor, obviously.
That's the only way is Essex version of saying obviously.
I don't think I've never felt that. I think you have to be comfortable with yourself and who you are and what you are, because it's a harsh business, and it's probably harsher for women than it is for men in terms of what you are expected to look like and behave like. It's quite fucking primitive at times, to be fair, and unless there's a paradigm shift in the way things operate, that will continue to be the case for a while. Though we're getting more female directors, which is redressing the balance a bit. But when there are people, there are actresses I know who are told that they're too fat for a part, and you go, what? Because the guy in charge thinks that this is the look that we need. Pile of sticks. Who's interested in that look? But it's harsh, and it's. But I think that's possibly something that everyone has to cope with. I'm a larger gentleman, and but there are I'll go into castings and there are guys twice my size. So it depends if they're looking for fat guy at bus stop. Then it depends what they're You've got to be able to let things go. I think as well. I used to hang out and think, why didn't I? Should I have done that different? Could I have? It's go in, do the best you can in an audition, and then just forget about it. And if you hear anything more, it's a bonus. I've got a friend who's been doing it longer than I have, who every time he'll say, so I've got a casting for Coronation Street next week. It'd be great if I get it, because we can go skiing. I'm going to take the kid. Man, you're spending the money before you've not even been in the room yet.
Yeah.
You might go in next week and just be a disaster. the number of times that he'd come, we're not going skiing this year.
Oh no.
Don't build it up into.
Next question, where are we? Go on, Rhodesy. Have another pop.
Is there anything that you've regretted while Like any like characters that you regretted doing or anything like?
Good question.
No, I think you have to. No, I think you have to. You make the decisions that you make for the best of reasons, and they're decisions that you have to stand by. I don't. No, I'd like to say my foray into the porn world was a mistake. Probably.
I'd seen that one, yeah.
Oh man, it was hilarious.
You're the best plumber I've ever seen.
I don't have.
So the full Monty wasn't too nervous to take any further?
Yes, yeah. That was. But we champagne and brandy. Really not a mix you should have. That's what got us through that day.
Brilliant. Next question.
What's been one of your favourite scenes that you've been involved in?
There was, I suppose, there's one in Game of Thrones which they kind of slung at us at the last. It was that morning. I arrived that morning. I was doing a little bit out in the woods where we're going hunting. And by the way, when you come back, we're going to shoot this afternoon. And I went, what the hell? Like seven pages.
Epic scenes, aren't there, in Game of Thrones?
Yeah, and it was the one with Lena, who plays Cersei.
From Huddersfield.
Just the two. She's from Huddersfield.
Huddersfield, yeah.
Huddersfield, that. I said, you've got all that time in the woods when you, right. So and I said to Brian, who was director, you'll break it down into little bit. Oh yeah. So we'll just go through the whole thing. Okay. Anyway, so I kind of vaguely knew it, but she's brilliant. So, and that was one. It's a long old scene where they talk about their marriage, and it's the only. I think they realised at that point.
I remember that scene.
All that up until that point, obviously, is quiet woman, or bring me, shut up.
Yeah.
That's all I've said to. We need some sort of something that where you see the two of them.
Yeah.
As a couple, so they created that. That was nothing to do with the books, but they went that we need that, and it actually turned into like a really nice little two-hander scene. So that's one that sticks out. But yeah, it was a bit scary being thrown at the first thing that morning. Oh.
Brilliant answer. Who? Khalid?
So you do this like really well, like blue collar American accent. Like obviously things like Still Standing and Flintstones. But is that something you learned specifically for a job, or is that something you could obviously?
No, I'm not very good with accents, but they have dialect coaches and stuff that'll help iron out some people can do it like that. It takes a bit of work.
It's actually really well. Like, it's like maybe like John Goodman and Roseanne, quite blue collar middle American accent. So
yeah. That's what they. That was with Still Standing. That was a series that I did a sitcom in America. We did about 4 years of it, and even by the end, I had a dialect coach there. Because it's not me. It's not my.
Yeah.
Chicago.
With all this, that's what I've been doing like the last couple of years, is Yorkshire accent.
But it's useful to be, especially Americans assume that everybody's American. So you kind of they write American characters. So it's a useful tool to have in your armory. Practice kind of just a general American accent.
Next question, Lucy.
What do you do 5 minutes before the camera rolls? routine or anything you do to prepare?
No, not really. Put out the cigarette.
Method acting by
Yeah, that's right. That's with your coffee. And, no, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. You know, you should know the words. Not everybody does, but you know, it's helpful to everybody if you know what you. I know that sounds insane, but believe me, when there's somebody on there who doesn't, people start to get worried because you're going, how long is this going to get this right? We've only got
Last
3
scene of the
weeks. Yeah, come on. But no, do your own work, which is kind of straightforward. The more on top of it you are, the more you can respond to any changes that a director decides she wants. Try it like this, try it like that. Whereas if you're going, yeah, I just don't know the.
No, you can't.
Yeah, how can you commit to giving them what they want if you literally can't get the words out?
So if you're prepared.
Yeah, somebody else would sit in this chair and say, you have a rough idea of, but you can riff on that. Some people can get away with that. Some people can't, and it's more useful generally, I think, to be fully prepared and ready to go, so that you're not causing anybody grief.
Brilliant, thank you. We'll work our way backwards now. David?
One of my biggest struggles. How do you prepare and deal with auditions?
They're always different. If you're actually in the room with the director, then I think what they're looking at that stage is, do I want to spend the next 6 weeks with this person? Is this gonna drive me fucking insane? Or do you know what I mean? Can I get on with this person? Is it going to be problematic? Are they able to respond to direction? So you say, well, let's read the scene through, and you do, and they say, okay, try it. What if he's furious? What if whatever's just happened, he's absolutely. They're just seeing if that first read that you've prepared is all they're going to get. Do you know what I mean? Because they want to know that they're going to be able to take an actor and they will direct them into a performance that they wanted, not necessarily the actor wanted. So showing them that yeah, you can do things differently. That's preparing for it. It's hard, but other than if it's a scene that they want you to do, know it, really know it.
Have you ever had a situation where you've come in, you've done something, and they're either not paying attention or they're not interested in it, and you anyway deal with that kind of situation, or just?
I would say just walk away and same with an audition that you think has gone well. Walk away and forget about it, because if you're going to end up kicking yourself and thinking, why I should have, if only. Okay. Wait for the next one.
Brilliant. Charlie?
Do you still take acting lessons?
No, but I think you're always learning. Every job you do, you learn something. Hopefully good things. Again, not necessarily But it's also knowing, you'll occasionally see people behaving appallingly, and you go, right, I know that's not how to do it. But no, I think just watch actors, watch movies, watch plays, just watch actors work, and you'll find yourself going, oh, that's an interesting choice. How would I have done that? I don't know. Brilliant choice. You can just, it just kind of go. It sort of goes in. I think you'll always be, even the shittiest movie you see, there'll be something in there that makes you go, well, yeah, I liked that, or I did not like that about it.
Sean?
My familiarity with your work up until Game of Thrones was mostly like comedic roles, and Robert Baratheon's. So is it like more fun as an actor to play those kind of parts, or like funny designated kind of parts? It's probably easier to play those parts, because with comedy it requires a response, and so you're always looking for, is that funny? Is there a way of making that funnier? Is it funny enough? Where's the line? How do we? And doing that on film or on TV is hard, because you're in a room full of silent people. It's their job to be quiet, we're filming. So you're getting no response whatsoever. So is it how, it can drive you mad. Whereas if you're playing a character who's not humorous, then you can just get on and do it without worrying about that. But that's why I try and do theatre quite regularly, because you're in the same room as an audience, and I do a fair bit of comedy, but it's knowing where that line is, and when you've overstepped it, can you win them back again? It gives you that helps inform any sort of film comedy work that you do, I think. So it's useful.
Good question. I like that one. Anyone else? Danny, mate?
Hi, Mark.
Hiya.
You said you went to drama school, so what would you say the studying aspect is to being an actor?
For me, I went to RADA, and RADA is they would say then it's a course in classical theatre. So you're doing Shakespeare, you're doing Ibsen, you're doing the classics. Purely theatre, though. There was a studying aspect, history of theatre. You'd do various. You'd work in restoration comedy. The studying bit is not really important, I don't think. And I think if you've got whatever if you're doing a play or a film or whatever, the director the good director will give you everything you need to play that scene, because they're in charge of the overall the feel of whatever it is that they're making. So if they don't give you the right information, you're not going to be doing the job for them that they need. So I would expect the director to be on top of their game and give you everything you need. So studying, nah.
Next question. Anyone else? Go on, mate.
Just with you doing Because I've done a bit of theatre, but whenever I look at theatre roles, it's just a lot of the time you need to sing or dance. Can you dance and sing?
Have you seen the full Monty?
Can you sing it?
No, not really. I could just about hold a tune, but I'm not a singer. There are people who really can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's so they wouldn't really think of me for
You've still got
that.
plenty of roles that I've been able to do that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. You don't have to, but it's I think theatre is a good. It's a good learning ground, and I find if I'm doing. I will do a bit of studying. To be fair, if I'm doing theatre, because in a way you kind of. You need to be able to inhabit a character a bit more, because you're telling a story from beginning to, there's an arc to it. Whereas in film, everything's disjointed, and we're doing your death scene first, and then. But being doing a bit of your own research can be useful.
I'll tell you what. We'll close with a few quick fire questions. Is that all right?
Okay.
Yeah. Is that okay? Your favourite role?
It was a part called Frank in a thing called The Last Yellow.
Oh. Favourite director that you've worked with?
Brian Helgeland.
Favourite actor you've worked with?
That's it.
I won't hold you to it.
But no, I did. But Sean did enjoy working with Sean.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And actually, the favourite, the favourite one with Sean was we did. There's a scene in Game of Thrones where the king first arrives at Winterfell. Great big scene, crowd, horses, all this sort of stuff, and. Sean has a pocket on the inside of his tunic for fags and that.
You could take the guy out of Sheffield.
Yeah. And he comes doing that bit. And that says, right, so he comes in, whoever walks up, and you all kneel, and he knelt down, and all this good chocolate, the fucking good chocolate, the Kit Kats, and all that was left was the drop. Oh, fucking hell. Was that your secret pocket? Give us one of them Kit Kats, yeah. Brilliant.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I love those stories. Stuff like that you can't ask for, can you?
Classic.
Proudest moment in your career?
Oh man, that's a tricky one. I don't know. I don't know.
I won't hold you to this.
No, yeah.
There's been so many.
No, they've not been.
So we go from something so poignant to the next one. Most embarrassing moment on set?
It's
only if you wish to share.
It's probably spending 2 days shooting that last sequence from the full Monty.